You know, sometimes you get so wrapped up in what you're doing, you forget to do things. An example is, and I know this, when you're laying track on a corner, if you have a piece of track and another section of track, you always solder those two pieces together when they're straight and then bend it. Then you don't get any kinks. In this case, I laid all of this down to here, not doing that. So this one's not bad here, this one's not bad, but I can see here where I've got some kinks in the track because there's a bit of a curve in it. Whereas if I had soldered it, that wouldn't have happened. So I'll go back now and solder each of these joints, use something like this to hold it in position while I do, and then ultimately when I get way down to here where I want to put these in, I'll solder them in straight and then bend them. I remembered when I was putting in this, that's what I should have been doing all along and haven't been doing. To solder it in place, not hard to do. Grab some flux and a trusty applicator. Go in with the flux on each of the joints, just on the outside a bit. In order to figure out how to lay all my track, this is what I did. I got the turnouts, and then within I laid all the turnouts out, as you can see. I cut short pieces of track, I put it all together. So in essence, this whole thing is mocked up before I glued anything down, before I soldered anything, before I did anything. But this here photo shows exactly what that's going to look like. Made sure that everything would fit. Put the engine repair facility in. Led just some tracks in to see how it would fit, and made sure everything would fit okay. And then used a pencil to outline it. And from there I went ahead and attached track and glued it in and did the feeders and all that stuff. Too much, you just take it off. You don't need a lot, it's just a bit on there. Go into the next joint. And don't worry if you do get it on top, because we're going to clean all this later anyway. So that's the first one. Get the second one done here. In the meantime, I've plugged in the soldering iron, and it's going to get the third one in here. And I was thinking last night I saw a little bit of a kink going on, but I thought, no, once I glue it in place, the glue will hold it. Well, the glue won't hold it. It'll just slowly work against the glue and the kink will come back again. So you really need to do this. Let's see how our soldering iron's doing. It is, ooh, nice and hot. We'll clean it. You're going to solder, make sure the tip is nice and clean, silvery. Now I'm going to use this to make sure that we've got a nice radius in here and no kinks. So yeah, it's a bit of a heat sink, but there, that should hold that all in place. Come in with a bit of solder. Heat it up. And apply the solder. And you want this so it goes into the tie plate or the rail joiner. Try and do it without melting the tie. You know, bad angle on the camera, but okay, that's that one. I can't leave. Let's just take this off and do it this way instead. I can feel much of a heat sink that is. That's a good join there, there's no problem. I need to do the same here. If I had done this at the start, then I wouldn't be facing this big heat sink in here. Nope, just popped out. Now the other thing you can do is, if you've got it, like in this case I can see it's a little bit wide. So I can hold it in with this wooden stick like that. Now if you choose to do that, you also need to make sure the gauge is still okay afterwards. So this goes on, checks the gauge, and we're fine. And the last one to do here is the inside of this one. And clean the tip again. Double check to make sure that goes through okay. Now I can feel it's a little bit tight there. So what I'll do is grab my bamboo skewer, just get on the inside of the rail, heat it all up. Push it out a tiny bit. Let it solidify. And check again. Okay, it's a little rough through there. For fun, try it the other way as soon as we are on the corner. It feels like there, it feels pretty much the same throughout, but I'm just going to push that out a little more again. Sure. Yep, that's better. That's all it took. So I'm going to go ahead. That's one done. I got 1, 2 more to do. So we'll do those and we'll be back. this one, fortunately, is a lot shorter. And I don't really see, it's pretty straight going in there. I'm just going to go ahead and solder this one because it's looking good. As before, we'll double check. No problem. Now this one, it's the one that was giving me a bit of, I could see a bit of kink in it, so that in like that. Clean the tip, grab some solder. Leave the iron on a bit more because the heat sink in there. Now I'll come at it from the other end. And this one is the kinky one. Let's just push that in a little there. I think that'll help. Let's see what that's like. Yep. So that's all okay. Now for these guys down here, what we want to do now for these guys, we want to make sure that we solder these on straight. The best way of doing that is to use this guy to align them. Snug the track up. But there we go. It's lined up nice and straight now. It's all lined up, hold it in place. And once it's in place, back with the soldering iron. And scrunch and get the other side here. There. Let that all set in place. And then take this off, make sure it's all okay. Yep, that's fine. Now when I bend it,